Alberta, not happy by any means, and as a matter of fact, they apparently have surpassed the required 177,000 signatures to trigger a referendum process. They are currently at 192, and this is coming after that changed from 600,000 to 177,000. So Danielle Smith slashed the number of signatures to trigger an Alberta independence referendum, and they've already surpassed it, at least on that change.org website. I don't know if that is the legitimate site to vote on, or if you want to do this. I have no idea. This happens, which they always threaten it. Alberta always threatens they want to leave, but the fact that she slashed the numbers that significantly as well, guys, yeah.
The government has taken hostile actions against Alberta and against the Constitution and against our right to develop our resources. And every action we have taken has been to reassert that the Constitution matters, the division of powers matters. And so I, at the very beginning of the campaign, said whoever got elected, I would expect them to address the 9 offensive pieces of legislation and policy that prevent us from being able to exercise our constitutional jurisdiction to develop our resources. We want to see a guaranteed access to economic corridors that include pipelines to get to new markets. We want the repealing of Bill C-69 so that we do not have an unending process for approvals that essentially means no more pipelines can be built. We need to lift the tanker ban off the BC coast. We need to eliminate the oil and gas emissions cap that has been proposed, which is a production cap. We need to scrap the so-called clean electricity regulations. We need to end the treatment of plastics as toxic. We need to abandon the net zero car mandate. We need to return oversight of the industrial carbon tax fully to provincial jurisdiction. And we need to halt the federal censorship of energy companies. I mean, this is all very reasonable requests. And so I've put that on the table. I know that the opposition leader said that they were very reasonable. Prime Minister Carney, it's a little unclear. And so I'm going to work over the next 6 months to try to get those things addressed. Because if it is the case that there's a consensus now about getting our energy to market, getting our resources to market, finding new markets, these are kind of the baseline to reset the relationship with Alberta.
And so you mentioned those 9 propositions that you want them to move forward with. As far as I know, Carney has a soft commitment to 2 of them about the energy corridors and an even softer one about the emissions cap. And yet, 28% of Albertans vote for him. So how do you reconcile that? And what do you say to Albertans who voted for a party that opposes what you think are Alberta's crucial interests?
I'll tell you what I think. I think that over 300 MPs got elected because they stood on a platform to get our resources developed, to work with provinces to establish economic corridors, and to get our products to market. I think the NDP got crushed, the Greens got crushed, and the Bloc Québécois lost ground because they were opposed to that agenda. And so I would hope that the current Prime Minister understands that his mandate comes from moderate voters who actually want this province to be a genuine energy superpower and the country to be a genuine energy superpower. And so that's why I believe we saw the outcome that we got last night. It wasn't because they doubled down on extremist environmental policies that would crush our industry. It was the opposite. They depicted themselves as wanting to create a new approach, one that would be in sync with what all the provinces are asking for, and that's what I'll be asking the Prime Minister to do.
Do you want your people to benefit economically and to have a future for your children that isn't stifled socially, culturally, economically, across the board? There's one way.
I was just about to say, across the board, literally in every way, shape, and form. Because as we currently sit here, I don't know when Parliament will return, but as soon as Carney attempts to pass a bill and it most likely fails because of, well, I don't know if it'll fail because they might get the support of the NDP. But as soon as something like that happens, a non-confidence vote will be called, which will most likely fail as well. And we could be here for another 6 months with Carney, or we could be here for another 4 years or 2 years with Carney, if you want to call another snap election, or if a non-confidence vote randomly goes through. I don't know at this point. We're stuck with him for minimum probably a year to 2 years, though, if I had to guess. Worst case scenario, the whole term. Guys, if you are from Alberta, I don't blame you for wanting to leave. And if you do leave, I would say best to you, but it's more like best to the rest of Canada, because you guys hold a lot of power in terms of your economic status the things you guys have there. Yeah, sure, Ontario has steel and we get billions of dollars with steel and metal and all of that, but you gotta have natural resources to get that steel. You gotta have gas, you gotta have diesel to get that going. So without you guys, it very well could be game over. Anyway, I would like to know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll see you in the next one.